Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, what is poppin', what's locking, and what's dropping? So today we're going to be going over how I make my gluten-free turkey chili. So I'm going to be going over all the ingredients, and we'll move forward. First thing we got going here is oregano. Fresh ingredients are always recommended, but dry ingredients work for. Second ingredient is some cayenne pepper. Third ingredient is some crushed red pepper flake. Fourth ingredient is some smoked paprika. Fifth ingredient is some basil leaves. Sixth ingredient is some chili powder. Next ingredient is one of my secrets when it comes to spicy things, and that's a little bit of cinnamon powder or ground cinnamon. Next, we got some ground cumin, grounded black pepper, and then some granulated garlic. Crushed tomato, tomato puree, hot sauce of choice. I love Crystal hot sauce. If you use Frank's, I'm sorry to hear that. Salt of choice. This is Himalayan pink salt, but you can use whatever salt you like. This is some sweet bell peppers, but you use poblanos, jalapenos, whatever peppers you would like on your chili. This is a yellow sweet onion, but you use whatever onion you like for choice. Next ingredient is some tomatoes of choice. These are just little tiny flavor bomb tomatoes. You use cherry tomatoes or whole tomatoes, whatever you like and whatever your heart desires. You could do minced or fresh garlic. And last but not least, I have some ground turkey, or you use any kind of ground protein that you would like. Turkey is pretty good in macros, low in fat, high in protein. But whatever protein you like, make sure it is minced, or it's not really a chili, I guess. But ground protein is what kind of makes chili, I suppose. Next on the chopping block, get it? Chopping block. We're going to be cutting up our fruits and vegetables. So I'm going to be showing everyone how I cut my peppers, onions, and tomatoes. First thing I'm going to do is show everyone how I dice up a sweet bell pepper. So you just take the top off like so. And then I like using the top part, so you can chop it up like so. Now you got poorly diced peppers. So on a bell pepper, you just want to take it maybe like halfway through the side here, slice it down, like on all four sides like so. And you get left with the core. Any kind of whiteness you see on the pepper, you will need to trim off by simply just slicing it out. I'll do that now. You can kind of carve it out like so. I would take as much out as you can because the white part is bitter. So, next, and then you might see some, fetus peppers inside the peppers. And the next thing we're gonna do is dicing them up. So you're just gonna make small strips like so, and then you're gonna turn it over, and you're gonna make more. You're gonna cut those strips into pieces like that, and voila, you have yourself some diced bell pepper. Next step, we're going to move it on to dicing this wonderful sweet onion we have in front of us here. So the first thing we're going to do, after we observe the oven spin it, we're going to go ahead and chop the top off. But we'll leave the root on because leaving the root on will prevent us from crying when we cut the oven. Just like a sad day after work. So we're going to first slice it in half though. It'll be easier to cut it off. And then you can see both sides here, and you can observe the inside of the oven. Wow, the onion. Jesus, sorry. And then we're gonna go ahead and chop the ponytail off of the onion, but you want to get as much out because the core sometimes will have that little stud in there, and then you get this like weird chunk of raw onion. So now you peel the paper off, but one thing I like doing is I like to peel the first layer of the onion off because that's typically like the gummy-ish part of the onion, so you want to get as close as possible. Next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and chop up the onion like so, but you don't want to chop all the way through because we're going to show you an example. So then after that, we're going to be slicing all the way through. And like Shrek says, onions have layers, so we don't have to make any cuts going through the middle. And once you're done, you can play around with it like so. and try to break up all the pieces, and you now have a roughly chopped and diced onion, which is pretty cool. I always like snacking on the raw onions too, because onions are very, very tasty. That's all it. Next thing we're going to go through is to dice a tiny tomato, or flavor bomb tomatoes. I don't know what you guys call these, but they're on the vine, so they look cool and they were cheap. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and get them. And I bet they are mighty tasty. So we're going to go pluck a couple from the vine, like we pluck some grapes when we feed our significant other. And then how I dice them up is simply just crosshair them like so, and they should dice up like that. Now, you can do it from the stem top or from the side of the tomato. Just be very cautious and do not apply too much pressure to the tomato, or else it'll just splurt out and juice just like a piece of fruit, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so I got my second mic, so we should be good now. So we're gonna mention, put everything in a bowl, like so, and you'll be good to go. Right. So now we're gonna be putting our protein in. In this case, it's going to be the ground turkey, because of reduction of fat. We're going to add a little oil to the mixture just to kind of lubricate it and make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom of your pan. And you're just going to plop right in there. And you're going to give it a good little mixing around, crush it all up, and so forth, as well as adding your seasonings. So we're going to go ahead and add, I'll put this on the medium high, by the way. Sprinkle of salt for taste. It's a big chunk of meat, so it needs a lot of salt. Some black pepper, some garlic powder, red pepper flakes, and a little bit of ground cumin. Then you give that a mix around until it turns brown or your protein is fully cooked. All right, next thing we got going on is their crock pot here where we're going to cook our chili in. So next we're going to add all of our wet ingredients to the tomato. Fresh tomatoes. Next we're going to do is going to add our vegetables. Make sure you get all the veggies in there. And then lastly, we're going to go ahead and add our protein in, or our turkey. Make sure you want to get all the juices from your protein in there, or that succulent flavoring.
Yeah, boy.
Once you got a mountain full of food like so, get yourself a spoon or a mixing utensil and just kind of incorporate everything in there like so. Want to stir everything around until everything gets covered in that tomato puree. So once you got everything mixed up, we're going to go ahead and add in our other ingredients. What we're going to do is add in our crystal hot sauce. Yeah, as much as you like, but I'm using the rest of this bottle because I had a bottle before. But for this portion, for about 5 portions, So for this, for about 5 portions, I would recommend going with half a cup of hot sauce. Actually, go ahead and add our minced garlic in. Lots of garlic for lots of flavor. Next, we're gonna add our basil. I'm using half of this container. Little hints of our cinnamon. Say about 4 dashes of that. Chili powder. Say about quarter of a cup of that. Cayenne pepper. Say about quarter of a cup. Oregano. About a quarter of the container. Red chili flakes. Give it about 6 to 8 dashes. A little bit of granulated garlic, since we do have the fresh garlic in there. A couple tablespoons of cumin powder. A bunch of smoked paprika. Let's go ahead and use half of this container. And last but not least, some salt and pepper for taste. Then you go ahead and get your spoon and incorporate all that dry seasoning in there, like so. Although I just realized that this slow cooker is way too small for what I need, but you know what? It's working, so we're gonna go with it. Once you got everything all mixed around like so, you're gonna go ahead and put a lid on top to keep everything nice and covered. You're gonna set the crock pot to high, and you're gonna let it cook for about 4 hours, but coming back and stirring maybe every 30 minutes or so. We'll be back when it's all done. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, this is the finished product of the chili. A couple of things to mention. Yes, this does not have beans in it. I'm not a big fan of beans, but you can obviously add beans into it if you like. As well as ingredient, I did forget to put in here. Maybe like halfway of being completed, you could put a half a stick of butter in there to give some really good flavor. So, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, we have made the gluten-free chili. Although technically, chili is pretty much gluten-free, but I gotta represent all the gluten-free peeps out there. So we have it in a container here. This is a 35-ounce meal prep glass container. Weight was 160 grams worth of chili in here, and I have 48 grams of reduced fat. We'll call it a Mexican blend, which is like cheddar, mozzarella. I don't even know. I'll just put the cheese blend here if you guys are interested in what in particular. So, a couple secret ingredients for my chili. I do butter and cinnamon is like my two little tricks, but other than that, it's pretty much all the same. Uh, it's like a traditional chili. So, they say about engineering is you take one thing, add one additional thing to it, and then next thing you know, it's your design. So, we're gonna go ahead, get us a very good scoop of chili here. Very scrumptious, very delicious, very nutritious. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. Cool. So, really good. Again, it's very traditional based chili. Um, I don't like putting beans in it. I'm just not a big fan of beans, but you're more than welcome to put beans in it. Um, any kind of beans you like, feel free to put whatever in there. But um, this is ground. I use ground turkey. The macros will be put at the end of the video, and this chili is a really good meal prep for winter, specifically because it's a very filling food. It's pretty low in calories, and you can it's pretty easy to grab on the go. And chili, you just kind of let it cook throughout the day, and then you come back and just throw it all into a bowl and enjoy. So to reheat chili, what I found, it uses style container. If it's more like if the container is a little bit taller, then you have to like microwave and stir it around and put it back in the microwave. So I do like if you put it in the fridge, I'd say like 2 minutes. Take it out, stir it around a little bit, put it back in for like another minute 30 on high setting for both times, and then sprinkle some cheese on top, and you're good to go. For maybe like wider containers, because you don't really have that depth in there. Maybe like a 2 minutes should be perfectly fine. Depending on how high you like your chili, I guess. But yeah, so I appreciate everyone for checking out the chili gluten-free chili video, and I'll catch you guys on the next recipe.